Oh hey Punchers, it's me, Hank, and welcome to this month's episode of Punch TV. And OMG, do we ever have some super tasty treats that can't be beat lined up just for you. We're talking Star Trek, we're talking Star Wars, we're talking Werewolves for the first time ever. Werewolves, and if you're lucky, maybe you'll get to see Tony open a box. That could be fun, you never know. So stay tuned, check it out. Alright.
I'm very excited to have some special guests on Punch today. We have two local creators. We have Tanya Laird and Alina Pete, and they are part of this really cool anthology that is on a Kickstarter campaign right now. If you're watching this early in June, you might still have a chance to get in on it, but they're blowing away their targets like nobody's business. But if you can get in on it, it's really, really cool because there's some really excellent perks that you can get by participating in this Kickstarter campaign. So it is called Howl, and it is a collection of stories about werewolves and other creepy little critters that are basically werewolf forms. Rue Guru is what I'm told that Alina Pete has been working on. Alina, what is the difference between a Rue Guru and a werewolf as we know it?
There's a few. For one, so it's a legend all across Canada. The Rue Guru takes a bunch of different forms, and I'm most familiar with a lot of the stories that were told on my reserve, Little Pine or Cowsis, down in southern Saskatchewan. And there, the Rue Guru is a person who is turned into sort of a spirit wolf. Sometimes by seeing another Rue Guru, sometimes by strange occurrences. But they don't turn under the full moon. They're sort of become a wolf most of the time. I think is the main difference between the werewolves that most people are familiar with.
So a Rue Guru in most cases can intentionally transform, whereas a werewolf is kind of stuck when the moon changes.
In some stories, yeah. In others, the Rue Guru is that creature all the time.
Ooh. Now, I have to ask you specifically, what is your connection with wolves? Would you consider the wolf to be like your spirit animal? Because you're not unfamiliar to the wolf tale. You've been doing WereGeek for many, many years. So please expand on your connection to the wolf.
Yeah, this is also my second werewolf anthology. I did one in a story called Can I Pet Your Werewolf? And that was like cute werewolf stories. I'm just a big nerd for werewolves. I think they're really cool.
They are really cool. So, here's to Lon Chaney and friends for sure. How did you get involved in this particular adventure? Did you have to apply or did somebody approach you? How did this anthology come together?
I've worked with Elizabeth Lepense before on the Moonshot series. I was on Moonshot volumes 2 and 3, both as a writer. So I think when she was looking to put together a list of people to approach for some of the stretch goals for this one, she sent me an email and just asked if I'd be interested in talking about werewolves. And I was like, yeah, of course. I love werewolves.
Yeah, they're awesome. So Tanya, how did you get involved in it?
Well, actually, Elizabeth Lepence, she was my external for my defense last year for my MFA master's. So we met that way. We kind of had a lot of the same circles. She's in game writing and game design. And I used to work for BioWare as a writer as well. So it was weird that we hadn't crossed paths before, but yeah, she was my external. So it was pretty cool.
Love those academic connections for sure. With your experience with writing for gamers through BioWare, how is it different writing for like a comic anthology than it is writing for a video game?
Well, I'm going to be doing the art as well. So I'm my own team. Writing for a video game, there's so many moving parts and so many different people that you have to work with. You're a very small part of a giant mosaic, basically. So this is going to be different with the anthology. It's a giant mosaic, but everyone is working separately.
So you're doing all the work yourself. That's a heavy load, really.
Yeah, I think Alina is as well.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Amazing, because you've always worked with a partner as well in WereGeek.
No, I do all of the art and writing on my own. My partner actually helps me with the editing.
Okay.
So like punching up my jokes, making sure I haven't misspelled anything, that kind of stuff.
Okay, cool. So the campaign is going bonkers. It's being wildly successful. There's a series of different stretch goals that you have already achieved, which is fantastic. So my understanding is that the more money that the campaign raises, the more other people get to be involved. Is there anybody that you're super excited about looking at their work or sharing their work with your friends and family? Alina.
I mean, everybody, like this, looking at the list of people, it's like a who's who of Indigenous artists and writers in comics. Like everybody is on there. There's some amazing people.
Cool. Tanya, who are you excited to read?
The tier stretch goal has a mystery writer.
Oh yeah.
And I'm really looking forward to, hopefully we get to that stretch goal and we can include their work.
Yeah, there are so many people involved in this. I encourage everybody, just go to the Kickstarter campaign page. We'll put up the link for you so that you can read all about it, because to list them off would actually take the entire time that we have for this interview, and to describe a little bit of the work would take way too long. So it's exciting, and I'm super pumped. When I heard about it, I was just like, yep, get us as many copies as we possibly can. We want to get these out to the world because it's cool. And there's like stickers and extra art that you can get too if you pledge. So I encourage everybody to check that out for sure. Okay, well, we're going to take a little break, and then we're going to come back and talk more about your work, what you're working on currently, and what you kind of hope to do in the future, if you can like share that secret with us. So stay tuned.
Punch TV is brought to you in part by Amazing Stories, providing Saskatoon with comics, games, toys, graphic novels, t-shirts, and more for over 22 years. Online at AmazingStoriesComics.com, in person on 8th Street in Saskatoon.
Hey Punchers, it's me, Hank, and this month on Tweetbeat, we're going to be talking about some sweet movies, some films that you need to check out, whether in the theater or from the comfort of your own home. And for everything you should be watching, reading, listening to, playing this month, check out the scroll at the bottom of the screen. And what? From who? Kathy. Hold on a second. Yeah, she did send me a message. Hey Hank, I'm so upset with what happened last month on Punch TV. I thought your show was an all-inclusive, safe space for all forms of nerds. I have found myself questioning my sci-fi choices. Have all these years watching Star Trek been a waste? Is everything I know a lie? Help! Well, hey Kathy, thanks for reaching out. You are not the only person that has sent me a message about what transpired in last month's episode of Punch TV. Now, for those of you that missed last month's episode, this is what my BFF, Tony, said.
Get another text here. This is from Vivian. How can you tell the difference between Star Trek and Star Wars? Well, one sucks, and that's not Star Wars.
OMG. Now, we all know that Tony loves Star Wars. He lives it. He was put on this earth to consume everything there is involving the wars. That's what the kids call it on the street. Now, here at Punch, we respect Tony's love of Star Wars, and we respect his ability to express his opinion right here on the show, but we all know Star Trek is better.
Believe it!
That's right, Star Trek is better. Now, while still some pretty sweet entertainment, just like Star Wars, Star Trek is more about science and improving our society, changing things for the better. Star Trek creator Gene Roddenberry began the show as a way to tell sophisticated stories using futuristic situations as analogies for current problems that we were facing and are facing right here on Earth. Many episodes have addressed moral and social issues such as slavery, warfare, and discrimination. No matter which series or movie, Star Trek has always featured multi-ethnic crews. Star Trek was the first American television show to showcase and feature an interracial kiss between a white man and an African American woman. Dr. Martin Luther King loved the show, and Nichelle Nichols' history-making role as Uhura.
Dr. Martin Luther King, my leader, is walking toward me, not 10 feet away, with a beautiful smile on his face. And then this man says, "Yes, Miss Nichols, I am that fan. I am your best fan, your greatest fan. And my family are your greatest fans. As a matter of fact, this is the only show on television that my wife, Coretta, and I will allow our little children to watch, to stay up and watch."
Computer engineer Steve Wozniak credited Star Trek and attending Trek conventions in his youth as a source of inspiration for co-founding Apple. NASA named its first space shuttle Enterprise after the fictional starship. Star Trek is better because it has inspired countless generations of scientists and inventors, many of whom have fundamentally changed the way we live for the better. Star Trek introduced the world to non-invasive medical techniques and technology, cell phones, computers, new science of theoretical physics, and of course, Captain Jean-Luc Picard.
The line must be drawn here.
Star Trek is better because it has smarter, more intelligent villains. There is no racist Jar Jars or Ewoks. A whole new language was created that's actually used and spoken right here on Earth. Star Trek has a genuine respect for critical thinking, and who can forget the Vulcan salute?
How does that Vulcan salute go? That hurts worse than the uniform.
Star Trek is a pop culture entity that is given back to the world not only as a form of entertainment, but has influenced cultural and scientific change. Now, whether you love Stargate, Babylon 5, Fringe, Stranger Things, Doctor Who, whether you love watching Starbuck hunt down some Cylons, or the Earthers and Belters and Martians battling out in space, whether you love watching the Ferengis argue over the rules of acquisition, or Han and Chewie flying the Falcon, we here at Punch TV and Radio love everything. Sci-fi, pop culture, and nerdy. Everything you love, we love. We've got your back for everything that you need to be watching, reading, listening to, playing. Follow at Fisher Cruise and at PunchYXE. My name is Hank. See you next time on Tweetbeat. And Star Trek is better. 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 Star Trek is better.
Welcome to The Collector. My name is Tony, and I have a special surprise for all you toy lovers out there watching my show, wondering what's going to happen with this box. Well, I went shopping the other day, and I went to a store called Figure 4 here in Saskatoon, and he had this box. Now, it's sealed. It's been opened. Someone's opened it a long time ago, and they've resealed it because it still has this old tape on it. So somebody opened this box. Never opened it, don't know what's inside of it. Thought it'd be kind of fun to see what it is. Now, all I can tell you for sure that it says Star Trek, 3-inch figures. It's made by Playmates. My guess is it probably came out in 2000-ish. I could be wrong, but I thought we're gonna open this sucker up and see what's inside. We'll see what figures are actually here. Okay, so I'm gonna open it up. Now, like I said, somebody's actually opened up the sides of it and taped it up. So I don't know if this could be a Cabbage Patch doll. No idea what's inside of this box. It could be anything. So it's opened up. Now I just want to point something out. A lot of people, when they use these knives to cut boxes open, they'll like get right in there, but you don't want to case cut it. So you want to just put a little bit of the knife showing. Put a little bit of the knife showing, then you're not going to cut anything. So let's do this. Oh, I just hope that a bunch of termites or something don't come out of this thing. All right. Oh, wow. I was not expecting this. This is interesting. This, A, is not a full box. It's definitely been opened and stuff has come out of it. So I'm not really sure. And oh, look at that. It's from the movie, Star Trek the movie. So this came out actually in, I don't even know, when did this movie come out? I should say on the bottom here. I guess this movie came out in 2009. So these are the movie figures from 2009. I was not expecting this. Basically what happened is they are little guys. I should have seen right away when they had the 3-inch figures, because the 3-inch figures are smaller. Most of the bigger figures come out that are 3 3/4 inch or 4-inch, but these are small. So I had no idea. So this is from the first movie Star Trek that came out with those people that weren't Captain Kirk. Different Captain Kirk, different area, but different era. But this is it. So let's see what we got. Surprise is what I would call it right now. So we got here. We got Sulu. Everyone remember Sulu? We just were watching original Star Trek shows the other day from the original like 1961 or 3 or something. Yeah, so we were watching that the other day, and Sulu, he's like, doesn't show up till the second episode. And everything is really weird. I don't know, you should go back and actually see. So, oh, there we go. 2 Sulus. 2 Sulus, you lose. If this is a box of Sulus, Sulu. Uh-oh, this is not looking good. This is not looking good. Oh, here we go, original Spock. So that's cool. So original Spock, this is in the movie actually. Original Spock came back, and he actually was super old, but for whatever reason, he got from one, I don't know, like from one universe to another. What do we got here? Oh, we got 2 original Spocks. Ah, Sulu. This is the worst. I had such good hopes. Oh, another original Spock. Yeah, there we go. Another original Spock. I can see what's happened here. Somebody really didn't want these figures. So they went out and I have 4 Sulus, and I got 5 original Spocks. So that just means one thing. We're gonna open up an original Spock and a Sulu. Now you won't see this very often because I normally don't open up my toys. I like to keep them forever. I feel that toys are meant to be caged. But in this case, actually the original Spock's kind of neat. Sorry, it's super loud. It's a plastic. The plastic's really loud. Oh, no, I hope I don't wreck his legs. Okay, so there we go. So basically what you're looking at is 3, 4, 5 little Spocks. They have a few points of articulation, and that's kind of neat. So there we go. What does he say? Live long and prosper. Prosper. Live long and phosphorus. Okay, so that's it, everybody. That was my opening. I'm not super happy. I had all kinds of expectations how cool this would be. And I guess it comes down to, if you find a box that's unopened before you buy it, you should open it. And know that you're not getting 5 Sulus. 4 Sulus and 5 original Spocks. All right, the collector says bye.
Punch TV is brought to you in part by Amazing Stories, providing Saskatoon with comics, games, toys, graphic novels, t-shirts, and more for over 22 years. Online at AmazingStoriesComics.com, in person on 8th Street in Saskatoon.
Well, we are back with special guests Tanya Laird and Alina Pete, and we're talking about this amazing Kickstarter, Howl. But I want to know a little bit more about your experiences as writers and as artists. How long have you been creating? Is it always been comics, or have you delved off into a number of different directions? Tanya, how did you get into comics, and what is your background, I guess, artistically?
Um, there's a lot of training. I went to school at an animation school in Saskatoon for a while. Called Sketch, and then I went in. That was classical animation, and then I went to a digital animation school for a year. And then I got into animation actually, but I got injured, so I wanted to move into something else. So I got into writing. But yeah, I interned at BioWare, and I was lucky to get on as a writer full time there. But yeah, comic books has basically always been my love. I grew up in a small town in Davison, Saskatchewan, and the only comic books they had there were like the gas station ones from the 1980s, 1970s. So, but yeah, I knew all of those characters back then.
Cool. Comics are amazing. They are a really, I mean, I'm biased, obviously, but they allow you to do things that like just fiction doesn't, that a movie doesn't, because it you get the best of both worlds. You get to kind of show the reader something, but also you have to make them work for it. Like their imagination has to fill in a lot of the gaps as well. And so it's very satisfying, but it's a lot of work. What are some of the favorite things that you've worked on in the past, Alina, that people should know about?
Ooh, that is so I've been working on my comic Were Geek for 15 years. But it's not the only thing I've worked on that time. I do a lot of like comics anthologies as well. Like I mentioned, the Can I Pet Your Werewolf that came out a few years ago. But I think the one I'm most proud of right now was just kickstarted a few months ago too, and it's through Cloudscape Comics. It's a anthology talking about mental health, and it's sort of like stories from your real life experiences dealing with that. And it's the first autobio comic I've done, so I'm pretty proud of that one. It's in a anthology called Through the Labyrinths of the Mind.
Ooh, that sounds
Yeah.
good. If people missed the Kickstarter, is there a way that they can approach this work?
Yeah, they should all be for sale through Cloudscape Comics, which I believe is just at cloudscapecomics.ca or .net. But if you Google Cloudscape Comics, it should come up.
Excellent. It's so wonderful to see all of these small publishers actually thriving and doing well, especially during this very difficult time when, you know, everything's topsy-turvy. But it's fantastic to see small works come to the forefront and getting a platform across all kinds of different media, because people are interested, and there's like these creative dynamos like you guys who are actually pushing it forward. It's so much work to do a graphic novel or a comic. Like I'm completely blown away and in awe of you guys. So please keep up the great work. It's generally been my experience that creatives kind of have their finger on the pulse of things. So they know other good artists and good writers, and they're watching cool TV that maybe fly under the radar. So Tanya, what are you watching or reading right now that you think deserves a spotlight that people maybe don't know about?
Actually, we just finished a series called The Irregulars. It's
Oh yeah.
yeah, it's really good. It's on Netflix right now. It's basically about it's a period piece basically in the Victorian time, and Sherlock Holmes is one of the players in it, but it follows street rats basically is the word you'd use. But yeah, there's a lot of supernatural, and it's very cool. I was really impressed with it.
Excellent. How about you, Alina? What are you reading or watching right now?
I just got into a series that I'm trying to remember the name of, but it's by Catherine Osborne. It is a real roller coaster of a ride. It's sci-fi set in a fairly corporate-run sci-fi future of these scrap heap salvagers out in space. And boy, I couldn't put that one down. It like started, and I was writing most of the night.
Cool. All
Yeah,
right.
it's real good.
Love that. Okay, we'll definitely look into those. I have a couple questions about your I guess your method. Are you primarily like a digital artist, or do you work like traditionally with like inks and pens and do you scan stuff? Alina, how do you go about creating your comics?
I'm kind of a hybrid. I went to Sketch as well. That's where I met Tanya, like many years ago now. So I always start working with like a erasable blue pencil, like we learned to do at the school it's like an old animator's trick. So I will pencil my comic in erasable blue pencil, take my ink brush pen and ink directly over the pencil lines, scan that in, clean it up in a couple of different programs, and then work with the line work digitally and color digitally. So I kind of start traditional and then I take a left turn into digital and do all my word balloons and panel layout there.
So you're just using the best of everything. That's very,
Yes,
very
yeah.
smart. Tanya, what's your method?
It's actually quite a lot the same as Alina. I do all my roughs by hand, and then I scan it in and I clean everything up, digitally, and then do all the color and layout and everything digitally.
Cool. So for somebody who is starting out, who maybe doesn't have the classical training that you guys have had through the animation school, do you have any words of advice or any tools that you would recommend that people look into if they want to start their own webcom or do something for print? Alina, what would you suggest?
I mean, it's really hard to get into your own head and talk yourself out of drawing. And I think the biggest thing I learned at school was just draw every day. You have a bunch of bad drawings in you that are struggling to get out. So, like, just get them on the paper and you will teach yourself as you draw them and to be like, oh, I don't like that. What did I do wrong in that hand? I'm going to try drawing that hand again like 5 times until it looks better. So, just don't be afraid to have bad drawings.
Yes, practice makes perfect, and don't be afraid to fail. Well, that's excellent advice. Tanya, you want to add anything to that?
I would say there's what I use now. I was using Photoshop before for all my digital work. It became too expensive, unfortunately, so I switched over to Clip Studio Art.
All right, well, that's good advice. Thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us today, because you're inspiring, and I hope that any would-be creators that are watching this might take a cue from you and get involved with these anthologies and just get involved with making their own stuff, because that's fun and it's so great for us to enjoy. So thank you. Keep making stuff.
And that is it for another episode of Punch TV. For all of us here at Team Punch, thank you for watching and listening. And speaking of listening, make sure to tune your ear holes to Punch Radio every Friday night on CFCR 90.5 FM right here in Saskatoon. And for previous episodes, head on over to the Apple Podcasts or Spotify. And as Jody would say, keep your dukes up. Keep your dukes up. These are my dukes. All right. Why are they called dukes?